So the question of the day, in my opinion, and it's the question that we're all asking ourselves in one way or the other, have we hit the bottom? And what I mean by that, have we hit the bottom really talking about Bitcoin and Ethereum, okay? Because Bitcoin and Ethereum make up about 60% of the entire crypto market capitalization. What I talk about is these two numbers right here, Bitcoin at a 411 billion and Ethereum at a little bit shy of 150 billion, make up about 60% of the entire crypto market capitalization of 955 billion as of the recording of this video. Okay, so the question we're all asking ourselves, right, is 20,000, 21,000, basically is 20,000 the bottom for Bitcoin? Is 1,000 the bottom for Ethereum? And the answer is most likely no, okay? And so we do have some, I believe, more downside potential risk, but I don't think it's a lot, okay? I think that the downside risk for Bitcoin may be 14,000, lowest 12,000, which, yeah, is a dramatic move down. That's probably 45-ish% down from where it's at. Ethereum, I think the low is 600, which is a 50%, move down from there. But that really is the bottom, okay? And that's not a dramatically a way lower number from where we're at right now, okay? Do I want that to happen? Heck no, okay? But that's the question we're trying to answer, right? Have we hit the bottom? Are we at the lowest point? So I want to point to a really great article where they were talking about, and they were reiterating some remarks by Sam Bankman-Fried. If you don't know who Sam is, he is the FTX Chief Executive Officer, right? So the FTX exchange. And I love Sam. I think Sam has become a shining light, if you will, in crypto. He is come out and talked very vocally about the fallout for crypto, Celsius, Three Arrows, and all this other stuff that's going on. And he said publicly that they have $2 billion plus more money that they're willing to invest into crypto to, et cetera. And I love this, okay? So he gave a interview with Real Vision with Raoul Pal, and I don't even know if I'm saying that name right. I always get that wrong. So he gave an interview, and he was talking about the overall state of the union of crypto. And so he said right here, this is a quote from Sam. He says, "I don't see any particular reasons that we couldn't be at the bottom." And I'm not trying to say that we definitely are at the bottom. Basically what I said, right? Where I think the bottom could be for Bitcoin 14,000-ish, for Ethereum 600-ish. So he says, I don't think, he says, I'm not saying that we're definitely not at the bottom, but I think the unwinding that had to happen has happened, meaning the unwinding kind of, some of the fallout and the move from 2 trillion down to, below 1 trillion in the total market capitalization of crypto. And he says it's been an extremely last month, obviously, right? So he goes on to talk about, says one of the interesting things is that this has not been a crypto phenomenon. When you look at what's happening in markets, you see similar things happening in tech and to some extent happening all over the financial ecosystems. He's talking about stocks, bonds, everything, right? Okay, so you basically have a really large retracement of all the gains that happened over the last year plus in all of the markets, okay? So he talks about this, and then he goes on to say, it was, quote, "It was sort of triggered by the Fed, initially by the expectation that rates were going to finally really start rising, and then more people thought." He's talking about the Fed adjusting the interest rates, etc. But ultimately what he talks about, and I agree with this, so I think you look at the drop down when Bitcoin went from 30,000 down to where it's at right now, it was basically driven by macro factors. And he's talking about, and I talk about this all the time on my channel as well, he's talking about driven by macro factors such as inflation, fear of recession, Russia-Ukraine war, the fallout from that, the implications of that on some of our food supply chains, the continuing COVID scenario, supply chain issues, disruption from China and a lot of the manufacturing shut down because of COVID, etc. Okay, so not a crypto specific thing. So back to our question at hand: have we hit the bottom? Possibly not. Not investing advice, minimize your downside risk, okay? And so just know that we could have a little bit lower to go here. It could happen over the next 30 to 45 days or so. But we are pretty close to the bottom, and that's a good thing. Okay, so we don't have a lot more downside risk, and we have a massive amount of upside potential over the next 2, 3, 4+ years. Okay, so that's it. Thanks for giving me a few minutes of your day. I appreciate you, and have a good one. I'll see you. Bye.